Hi dear students, myself Jobin Joseph and I will be teaching social science to you. Today we will be starting our first lesson in social science, that is global warming. In the fourth standard we have studied the relation between the earth and the sun. We understood that we get light and energy from the hot burning star called sun. If the sun was not there, there is no life possible on earth. But unfortunately, recent studies and researchers found that our mother earth, the earth planet getting warmer day by day. Or in other words, we can say our temperature, our earth's temperature getting hotter day by day. As a result, what happens? We feel, the human beings, animals and birds all the living organisms feel extreme heat day by day. The huge mountains, snow mountains are melting now. The sea level, the oceans and sea water level are increasing day by day. The animals and the birds, even human beings also affected by these effects of global warming. Okay, in today's chapter, we will be having a detailed study about global warming. Now, we will be studying what is our atmosphere. Our earth is covered by a layer of air and it is called an atmosphere. So, what is an atmosphere? Our earth, as you see in the picture, our earth is covered with layers of air and it is called what? An atmosphere. And this atmosphere protects our earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays that are coming from the sun. So, this atmosphere is very much useful to us, and you should also understand this atmosphere contains many useful gases in it. Okay? So, for example, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, methane, ozone, okay? All these gases are contained in the atmosphere, and these gases are called what? Greenhouse gases. Okay, now we will be studying about greenhouse gases in detail. Now what you have to understand it? Now what you have to understand? Our earth is covered with layers of air. It's called what? Atmosphere. Okay, now we will be studying what is the duty of these greenhouse gases. Just before I have told you, okay, our atmosphere contains many useful gases in it. Okay, now we will be studying what is the duty of these gases. Some gases in the atmosphere trap the heat from the sun and make the surface of the earth warm, and this is known as greenhouse effect. So what is the duty of these greenhouses? What is the duty of these greenhouse gases? To absorb the heat from the sun and give a moderate or normal climate to the earth. So that is the major duty of these greenhouse gases, and that process is also called greenhouse effect. What is the greenhouse effect? The greenhouse gases trap or absorb the heat from the sun and give a normal or a moderate climate to our planet called Earth. Okay? Now, just before I have told about different greenhouse gases, useful gases which is present in the atmosphere. Now we will be studying about greenhouse gases, and we will be also studying how these greenhouse gases produce in the atmosphere. First one, carbon dioxide. This gas is released by human beings and animals during respiration. As you all know, when human beings, animals, when we breathe in during the time of respiration, we breathe oxygen and we release what? Carbon dioxide. Okay? So carbon dioxide mainly produced during time of respiration, during the time of breathing. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases due to various human activities like burning fuels and cutting down trees. So when we use more vehicles, or when we burn the fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, what happens? It also produces more amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And by cutting down the trees also, what happens? When we cutting down the trees, what happens? The amount of oxygen reduces and the amount of carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere. So this is how the carbon dioxide is produced in the atmosphere. Second one is methane. This gas is released when fossil fuels are burned. Okay, how the methane are produced in the atmosphere? When the fossil fuels such as petrol, diesel, kerosene are burned. Okay, or when we, in other words, we can say when we use more amount of vehicles and the vehicles are run off these fossil fuels. So when we use more amount of vehicles, what happens? The vehicles produce some amount of methane in the atmosphere. Burning animal dung, when we burn animals waste, when burning animal dung releases a large amount of methane gas into the atmosphere. Okay, so when we burn the animals waste, or in other words we can say animals dung, it also produces large amount of methane gases in the atmosphere. Third greenhouse gas is nitrous oxide. This gas is produced when plants die or rot. So when the plants die or decay, what happens? This nitrous oxide will form and will be deposited in the atmosphere. Fourth one is water vapor. Water vapor is produced due to the evaporation, steaming away from water from oceans, seas, rivers and other water bodies. Okay, as you all know how the water vapor produced in the atmosphere. During the time, at the time of steaming away of oceans, sea, rivers, what happened? This water vapor will deposit in the atmosphere. The fifth greenhouse gas is called ozone. It is released in the air due to the smoke from vehicles and factories. Okay, this is how the green ozone produced in the atmosphere. How it happens? It is released in the air due to the smoke from the vehicles and factories. As you all know, when we use vehicles, it produces a large amount of smoke, and this smoke contains what all things? Carbon dioxide, methane, and some amount of ozone also will be produced by the smoke from the vehicles. Okay, now sixth, CFC gases, or in other words, full form of CFC gases are chlorofluorocarbons. Now we'll be studying how these CFC gases are produced in the atmosphere. This greenhouse gas is mainly released into the atmosphere due to the leakages in air conditioners, refrigerators and many industrial equipment. So how the CFC gases are produced in the atmosphere? By the leakages of air conditioners and refrigerators. Okay, this you might have seen this kind of ACs or air conditioners, right? This is mainly these CFC gases are produced by the usage of old type of refrigerators and ACs. Okay, now the modern type of ACs and refrigerators are not producing the CFC gases, but comparatively the old type of refrigerators and ACs are producing more amount of CFC harmful gases in the atmosphere. And also by the use of chemical compost sprays that we use in our homes also produce a large amount of CFC gases in the atmosphere. Okay, just now we have learned about atmosphere, greenhouse gases. Okay, now we'll be studying how this global warming happens in the atmosphere. Let's see. What is global warming? Rising pollution levels, deforestation and careless use of appliances like air conditioners and refrigerators have led to an increase in the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. These have consequently led to an increase in the Earth's temperature and resulted in the global warming. Okay, we'll be studying how this global warming occurs or happens in the Earth. Just now we have studied about greenhouse gases such as nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, methane, chlorofluorocarbons. Somehow these greenhouse gases are very much useful in the atmosphere to control our climate in a moderate way, in a normal way. But what happens when the amount of these greenhouse gases are increasing in the atmosphere? They trap more amount of heat from the sun, and that makes our earth become more hotter and hotter day by day, or that makes our earth warmer day by day. So here what you have to understand, actually we need a minimum amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So what happens when there is a the amount of greenhouse gases increasing in the atmosphere? They trap more amount of sun rays and sun radiation from sun, and that make our earth more warmer or hotter day by day. So due to various reasons, what happens? The amount of greenhouse gases are increasing our atmosphere, such as cutting down the trees by the usage of more private vehicles, personal vehicles, and the usage of chemical components that we use in our daily life. Due to all these reasons, what happens? The amount of greenhouse gases are increasing in the atmosphere. As a result, we are getting our planet getting warmer or hotter day by day. This is how the global warming happens in our planet called Earth. Okay, in today's class we have learned about atmosphere, we have learned about different types of greenhouse gases, and finally we have studied how this global warming occurs or happens in the Earth. Okay, and this is a note for you. Please note down this note in your notebook. Okay, first question, what is an atmosphere? Answer, our Earth is covered by a layer of air is called atmosphere. And second, define greenhouse effect. Answer, some gases in the atmosphere trap the heat from the sun and make the surface of the earth warm. This is known as greenhouse effect. Third one, name few greenhouse gases. Answer, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, water vapor, methane, ozone are the few examples for greenhouse gases. The fourth question, what is global warming? The answer, rising pollution levels, deforestation and careless use of home appliances have led to an increase in the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. These have consequently led to an increase in the earth temperature and resulted in global warming. These are the notes for you. Please write down these notes into your notebook and read the textbook many times. Okay, so we'll be seeing next class. Thank you.